Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the fourth day of March 2020. Well, interesting Super Tuesday last night, wasn't it? Basically, Biden won Super Tuesday, so we'll see what happens next Tuesday. I guess 10 states are supposed to vote, so we'll see what happens. I guess California is going to take, 10 days or something to come in? Oh my gosh. It's like nobody's ready. They're all making changes to improve things, but no one's really ready. So, I don't know. It's like we've never voted before or something. I guess it's just so important now. They're trying to keep interference, in the election, down or eliminated, and you have a administration that won't assist, that does everything in its power to block that. So they want the interference. I guess they know maybe it's the only way they think they can win. But if you have to win by cheating, what have you won? Clearly you're not the right group of people to be there if that's what you're going to do. So I don't know. Things are a mess, aren't they? Astrologically, we're still looking at lots of ability right now to go within and make some changes. I suspect that retrograde activity is part and parcel with a lot of that. Retrograde is a loosening thing. I wrote a little blurb over on Patreon. If you want to follow me over there, you can see that. You have to sign up for a tier, though, to do it. Well, no, you don't have to sign up for a tier, actually. You can pay whatever you want. I took that away. I couldn't figure out how to do that. I knew you could, but I couldn't figure it out when I set that thing up. But then I figured it out. I just went in there and thought, okay, I wonder if it's this. Turns out it is. It just doesn't give you the option. You just don't check one and you get that as default. It just doesn't tell you that. So anyway, I guess they want you to set tier levels, though, and I'm just not into that. I resisted doing a paid type of deal anyway, and then I thought, oh, what the heck? So anyway, I wrote something on retrograde, a little bit different. I don't know. I'm sure there's other people that view it this way, but I just view it as a time of not, I mean, sure, sometimes things don't work, sometimes the internet doesn't hook up and there's issues and everything, but I think that it gives us a chance to loosen perceptions. And I think that that's really what a lot of the astrology's been talking about. Where Moon's in the third house and Cancer right this moment. I did the astrology for this reading at 8:31 this morning. So the house will change. Cancer may not, though. Let me look here. I have another software that will tell me that if it's going to be a split energy day. I don't know. What is today? Today's the 4th. No, it's not going to be a split energy day, so that's good. Sometimes, you'll transition between, say, when it moves from one house or from one sign to the next, you're going to feel transitional energies on those days. And so whenever that's the case, I try to do that. I do that in the weekly Rune and Moon. I note that on that every week. So you can check that if you want to see if something doesn't seem right. It may be that we're transitioning into another sign. But anyway, again, a lot of reflection, a lot of interactions, a lot of aspects with the North and South Node. Moon has that, a conjunct North Node and opposite South Node. We're reflecting on a new path forward, and we're to listen to our heart. And what there's really saying there is listen to the voice of Spirit. Spirit's not going to lie to you the way ego will. Sun's still in the 12th house, Pisces, again, self-reflection. A medium influence with a semi-square with Venus, feeling unsupported toward achieving goals. But again, maybe it's the way you're expressing the goals. Maybe there's a better way to talk about it, and then you might get some people on board. Mercury, 11th house, Aquarius, that's new. Originality is key today, both in awareness and relationships. So again, you're allowing perceptions to soften a little bit here. Sextile Venus, harmony with others today, though, and ideas are engaged, probably more of an original type of a thing with the Moon in Aquarius right now. Excuse me. No, I don't think it's the coronavirus. I may have already had it. We were ill in January, both of us, my husband and I, and it seemed flu-like as opposed to cold-like. So So if it's along those lines, then I don't know. Maybe we just had a little bout of the flu. But anyway, I have a little residual cough right now, but so it may not have been that. But you have to wonder, how long has this really been active? You know, people travel, they go everywhere. So to think that a little place where I live isn't going to be affected, they are. We will be. I guess people in all of the folks in Bend, that are emergency type folks, fire, police, all of that, ambulance, they're getting outfitted in hazmat suit type things so that they can interact with people if they need to. So that's even happening here in an area as small as ours. And my husband read that last night. Mars still ninth house Capricorn, explore new experiences. Jupiter 10th house Capricorn, again, changing career focus is possible. Anytime you have Capricorn involved, though, the idea is to make careful plans. Just think that whatever that influence, whatever you're needing to do within the house, you're going to have to be careful about it. So work-related, career, status, public, you know, being people being aware of you publicly. You just want to be a little careful with that. Saturn, 10th house Capricorn, same sort of thing, reassessment of career. Direction could change or end within this period, and something new could take hold. Uranus is now in the 12th house, and Taurus, again, same sort of thing, though it sort of fluctuates between the 1st and the 12th. Being open to change and new experiences, but it's important right now. But the idea is that we need to break free from old patterns and old paradigms. And a lot of it has to do, especially with Mercury being in retrograde, Juno is in retrograde, so we're talking partnerships there, how we interact with people, what our relationships are like with others. That is all going to be in flux for a while, and I think for the time being going forward, not just for now. Neptune is still 12th house Pisces, or rather Uranus, 12th house Taurus, and also the semi-square with Neptune, medium effect right now, no longer strong. We're still having to go within and use our intuition to be aware when we're being played, because we are. Overall, collectively, there is a con going on, all right? And it's been going on for some time. It's starting to lessen a little bit as more people are aware of what the truth of all this is. But we're being conned, and you need to take a step back and be certain that that's not happening. Loosen perception, loosen that focus, loosen that belief structure. Some of it has been based on causes that have arisen. And so maybe you're going in the right direction, but maybe a course correction is needed, or maybe just an adjustment. I don't know. But just be aware. I'm not going to get real specific here because I think it can play out in different ways. Obviously, election-wise, there's some conning going on. Obviously, within the current administration, the whole thing's a con job. So we have to be aware that this is in play, and it's difficult when you have all these outside actors and influences coming in to try to disrupt what we believe. It's hard to know what to do, isn't it? It's hard to know who to believe, but that's what we're tasked with right now. And the truth is there. Chiron is still same place, 12th house Aries. So, you know, we're going to be, you know, lots of healing going on, lots of wounding coming up. But the Aries energy may be somewhat obstinate, and you may not, you know, too pushy. And so maybe it's not going to be so easy for you. But if you face your fears, again, a north and south node interference here, aspect between Chiron and the north and south nodes of the moon. Life is changing now. It's a given. We're in ascension mode. So we're going to change no matter what we think, no matter what we want. We're going to be affected by the changes going on around us. So it's going to affect who we are and how we interact. So drop resistance and move on into spirit and let ego go, because that's what's gotten us into the mess that we're in, is allowing ego to run amok. And forgetting that, you know, spirit is not something we work our way back to. You know, we wouldn't be alive if spirit wasn't focusing into form every second of our experience. So there's no disconnect. We don't have to be good little stewards and work our way back to spirit. We are spirit. So that lie needs to end. That deception, that long played con needs to end. We are not anything but spirit, focused into these bodies. And so I think that what the astrology is taking us to, and heading us in that direction, is of that type of awareness, that we can continue to be at odds with one another, but we're really at odds with ourselves when we are. Because everything and everyone we see is simply the other side of self, playing out another version of who we are. We talked about that yesterday. If we think about everything we see as simply another version of our soul playing out this whole experience that we're having, then we understand that, when we say, there but for the grace of God go I, well, no. There for the grace of God go I, not there. Eliminate the but in there. We can move forward in grace, or we can move forward in ego. It's really that simple, and it really is that definitive. So reflect, and go within, let intuition guide you, and see where it takes you. So let's go ahead and see where the cards are going to take us, though, and we'll take our first 3 cards. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've come back, thank you so much. And I've been spending time on the astrology because I think it's really important right now, and it does interact with the cards. So. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to take the 13th card each time for randomness sake. Normal readings, I don't do that. I just shuffle and lay cards out. But for this, I want it to be so random that, it's amazing that it all connects. So anyway, and it does. So there you go. And then after that, we'll do take a rune out of the Elder Futhark bag and see what it has to say. And then we'll end with creating a geomancy rune to close out. So here we go. Well, we have the King of Swords, and we'll talk about them when I get them all laid down. The King is an authority figure. Swords is the air element or intellect. Sometimes he needs the advice of the Queen, mostly though. So we'll see if we can get him any here. We have the Ten of Swords. New beginnings, believe it or not. A really positive card. The end of illusion. With the Uranus's, what was it? The semi-square with Neptune. It was so strong for so long, and now it's a medium influence. But, again, this is where I think the astrology connects with the cards, because the Ten of Swords may be the long blade con having to do with the guy in authority, so, or someone perceived in authority, maybe someone who's a candidate right now. It could be that. So anytime you have the swords, you're going to have, that's where the conning happens. It happens intellectually. They connect with us on an intellectual level, and that's where the con is played. It affects everything, but that's where it comes from. It's deception. Oh, we have the Fool, undeveloped potential. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to read this from that standpoint. I think that there's messages that are happening right now that are, we're dealing with the coronavirus, and that's a mess. When you fire your pandemic team, I don't know what you do. You're never, and he can't seem to understand that a vaccine is not simply a shot you get so that you get better. That's not what that is. And we all know this, okay? If you've had children, if you were a child, you had shots, what this, how did we get such an idiot there? Anyway. He really doesn't understand. And these people have to explain it to him. You would think a president of a country would have some level of intelligence that's higher than, I don't know. I don't even know what to compare it to. I don't even know. An infant, maybe, who doesn't know about vaccines other than they got them. You just know they hurt. we have a lot of that going on right now. But with the Fool, it's saying, and with going with Mercury retrograde, Juno retrograde, all of this self-reflection that we're doing, okay, we have a chance to be the Fool again and to experience life in undeveloped potential, where we start over, and we start over from the aspect of spirit instead of the aspect of ego. Ego has really destroyed everything. It's destroyed our ability to trust people. It's destroyed our ability to believe our leaders. You know, you hear all this chatter in the election. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You know, well, it gets all the supporters all stirred up. Yay, all this is going to happen. But they really can't tell you how they're going to do it. Well, a couple of them can, but they really can't tell you how they're going to do it. So they promise, oh, I'm going to make cannabis, you know, legal everywhere. I'm going to expunge everybody's records. No, you can only do that for federal if you're president. You can't do that for any of the state stuff. That has to take place on the state level. So right there, that's a lie. It's giving people the false impression that something can happen easily when it's a little more complicated than that. It's not that it can't happen, and it needs to happen, right? But you got to be aware that they're doing this, and they're not really telling you everything, okay? They're telling you what you want to hear. And all too often during election season, it's all grievance-based, right? So here we go again, that same type of energetic give and take, you know, that leaves everybody going, okay, what just happened, right? When it's all said and done. So that's kind of where we're at. But we have a chance right now to really, it's not that you don't necessarily want to believe them, but you want to verify. It's the whole trust but verify. That's where we're at right now. We have a king who needs you to believe what he needs you to believe, right? So are we going to do that without thinking as we take that leap into the abyss with our dog at our side, with our white rose in our left hand? You know, here we go into this with full awareness that when we get below the abyss, we don't know what we're going to experience, but we're going to choose from all these experiences that are out there. And we're going to create our whole thing based on what we decided we wanted to do, the overall theme, right? And then we set about, you know, creating our world, creating our experience, or at least creating our perception of it. But I suspect it's even more profound than that. I suspect we're creating all of it. And if we go with the notion that everyone we see and everything we see is a reflection of you playing a different role for you to interact with, you know, maybe it's a little easier to not rise to the bait, to not take the bait, to not, you know, get your back up about things and react. You can go, oh, that's interesting. I don't think I want to do that. You know, that's what the whole experience is. You've created it all so that you can experience whatever theme you came into life with. So if it's a difficult one, like I chose, well, you know. But I mean, you choose the energies of the people that are going to, the souls that are going to be your family, all of it. So we have the undeveloped potential right now as we see through all of this 12th house stuff, all this reflective business, intuition, all of that that's coming up right now. We have the ability to go within and align in source presence and know what the truth is at any given moment. We know when we're being sold a bill of goods, but sometimes we just look past it. We view it as a speed bump, and we don't understand the effect it's going to have on everything else that's going to happen to us, or that we're going to create for us, right? Because very little happens to us, right? It's just how you see it. So if you're the Fool and you think about this, we now have undeveloped potential. If we're going within and we're loosening the bonds of perception, we have a chance to see this differently, to see our experience here differently. You know, we can discern whether or not, you see, the sword is not fully upright, is it? It's bending toward his right. So bending toward his control of others. You see the sketchy brown clouds in the background. There's deception at foot here with this man. There always is. Now, if the sword were completely upright, well, you know, like it is with the queen oftentimes. You're looking at somebody who's going to play it straight with you, who's going to tell you the truth about things, who isn't going to take any crap from people. You know, the Queen of Swords is a woman who does not suffer fools gladly. She's like the witch in that regard. We don't. If you're being foolish, we're just going to look at you like, stop it. Just stop it. And if you don't, we might cast a spell to make you stop it because we don't like that sort of thing. It's the Hagalah's experience. Destruction within a fixed framework. Destruction of the nonsense. Bring things back into order so that we can progress on. You know, it's like going to grandma's house and she doesn't like the funny business, right? That's what it is. But the king is full of funny business. Always has been. Always will be. He won't look you in the eye because he's deceiving you. But now, the dawn is breaking, isn't it? We see a demarcation line back there where the mountains begin, don't we? Between separating the body of water from the struggle ahead or the challenge ahead. Because when we have the end of illusion, that's challenging. Because now what do we do with it? What do we do with how we think now? Again, let Mercury retrograde work for you instead of against. Loosen the bonds of perception and allow some of the stuff you were thinking that just doesn't seem to really resonate, let it fall away. Things are going to be in flux for a while. We're in a 22 year. By its very nature, that's what's going to happen. The end of illusion. 22 is the master builder. It's a master number known as the cosmic builder. So I guess you could say master builder. But this is profound change on a soul level. Building anew. Restoring order, restoring everything from the chaos that's been. The night is lifting and the sun is returning. We don't see it yet, but this is dawn, right before the sun comes up. And the end of all illusion. You have to ask yourself, and I think that this is part of the discernment, is the individual you're listening to and believing, are they lifting everybody up? Or only the people that believe like them? If you don't believe the way a certain candidate, in other words, if you don't support a candidate, are people okay with that, or are they yelling at you? If a candidate's supporters have to yell at everybody to get people to support the candidate, if they have to insult and demean and all of that, then there's something wrong with that candidate. There's a cult-like relationship that got established, and we don't need that again. So think about that. We're dealing with Perth Row today, the unknown. Perth Row, let's see, is it the 14th, or what is it? Yeah, it's the 14th rune of the Elder Futhark. We're talking change here, but we're talking the cauldron. It's about fate. This way, turned this way, it's about birth or the development of something new, the unknown coming. Here, it's about death. Here, it's focused into form, basically. And here you have a cauldron. Let's see if I can turn it back correctly. But here we're talking, it's the cup from which dice are tossed or the runes are cast. It's the element of the Norns of fate, emphasizing their control over men's lives because, after all, you know, men get confused. And I'm sorry about that, but they do. They need guidance, and they don't listen a lot of the time. And those that do have the ability to, those that succeed have the ability to listen to other people. Those that don't, or maybe do in spite of everything and everyone, they do it on the backs of others. And so you're finding more and more men now that do listen to other people. And I'm not just saying that they have to listen to women. I mean, yeah, they do, but they just need to listen, period. They need to be willing to listen to experts. A president is never going to know everything. A governor is never going to know everything. A mayor is never, in other words, the people in charge are never going to know everything. And they have to be able to surround themselves with people who do, experts, people that actually have the greater good at heart instead of just more self-dealing, right? So you get a bunch of people who are there that just self-deal, and all you have is a bunch of people creating havoc for everyone else. And that's what you've got going right now. We have a chance at this moment because the unknown is ahead of us, right? To put anything there that we want. And so are we going to take command of our fate, or are we going to give it over to some unseen force that may not have our best interests at heart? If we hand it off to somebody who is not going to tell us the truth, that's more self-dealing than anything else, like the king is, or like other men in authority are, and it isn't just men. I mean, it can be, I mean, obviously we're talking about a male individual here. I mean, women are the same. You know, you look at the education secretary right now, and no one can figure out what she's doing. She's removing funding, wants to remove funding away from the poorest, most rural schools that depend on federal funding just to be there. There's not a big enough tax base to fund them in states with less population. And so they have to have it. And this woman wants to take it away. What will they do? She doesn't care about children as the education secretary. She cares about this. That's all she cares about. Sure, you got to think about money, but we got a lot of it. And if we would just simply, use it in the right way, then we could increase the social safety net and make everybody a little more secure so that disparity in work and in income isn't going to be as big a factor. You see, it's not that, we want to all have the same thing. It's just that we don't want to die or not be educated or get sick because we don't have the basics when we have the ability to do that. That's all anybody's saying. So I think that we look at the unknown and we don't realize that it's known. I'm not a Bernie supporter. I'm not. I donated to him in 2016, but I'm not a supporter. I don't understand his energy here. I look at everything energetically. I also listen to what people say. But if I'm feeling something off with them, then I just step back. And I've felt that way for a long time. It's a lot of chatter. But again, like I'll expunge all the cannabis. No, you won't. You can't. It's impossible. You can ask states to do that, but doesn't mean they will. They tend to follow suit with the federal government. Doesn't mean they will. Okay? Not going to happen. You can't. So in other words, change the message to one that's more truthful. And if he's not going to do that, well, what on earth is going on? You see, this is the kind of thing. This is why you have to loosen the perceptions and take a real look at, now, you may find, I don't care, we'll figure it out, I'm going to vote for him anyway. That's fine. Do it. He may be our next president, and that's fine. If he's the nominee, I'm certainly going to vote for him. So I'm just not a supporter right now. But if he's the nominee, oh, you better believe I'm going to vote for the guy. And we'll figure it out in the end, right? We'll figure out what he can really do. And that'll be fine. I don't care at that point, right? But right now, I'm going to vote for somebody else. Unless that somebody else turns out to be somebody that, oh boy, and then I might in fact vote for Bernie in the primary. So you see, everything is in flux. So it's very, very vital for whoever's out there campaigning, whether it's the candidate themselves or the surrogates or anybody, to remember to be respectful and to understand that per throws in effect here. We don't know yet what the outcome is going to be. We cannot assume it. When you do, arrogance comes into play. Be humble. That's what we need now. We need, when someone makes a mistake in what they're saying, we need to say, hey, you know what? I said this the other day, but I just learned some new facts. So I need to tell you about this, and we need to modify this because that's actually not going to work. Let me tell you something. A candidate who does that, they got my vote. It's not flip-flopping to be able to change course because new information's come in. It's intelligence, all right? That's the level of discernment that I think we're talking about here. Seeing the con for what it is, understanding that they're not really telling you everything, and we need to be, in other words, it's like with the coronavirus stuff now. You've got governors, I know ours is, and I know Jay Inslee is, but Governor Kate Brown, she's not going to listen to the federal government. She's going to go ahead and tell people what they need to know about all of this. And you know, Jay Inslee, he's going to do his own thing too. He's not going to listen to what Trump's going to say, because Trump doesn't know anything at all about anything. And for whatever reason, he can't seem to get it together enough to tell anybody the truth. And now, I love it. Yesterday, Pence had a briefing. Only the reporters could be there taking notes, but there could be no video, no sound. We couldn't hear anything. That said, Geomancy rune is Laetitia, or joy. This is sorrow, Tristitia. It's his complement. Active element or active principle there for the fire element. All the rest are passive. This goes into the order of fire, air, water, and earth. And basically how you do it is you put it in order. I use 4 runes that are coded. You can look at this. If you look at the monthly geomancy, there's a link to building a geomancy shield chart. And that's just another post I did to explain that. Rather than doing it each month, I just linked to it. If you want to see how it's done, you can go there and look. You can use anything. You can use small pebbles. You can use peas, beans, whatever. You grab a handful, throw them down. If it's an odd number that you count, then it's a single dot. If it's an even number you count, then it's 2 dots that you put down. I just decided, since I'm in the dark here and in candlelight and all of that, I just decided that I would do them in runes. And since they have to go in order of fire, air, water, and earth, I color coded them with a single dot on one side and 2 dots on the other. And that's how I do geomancy runes. I just find it's easier. I throw them down, and whatever it is, it is. You know, a shield chart is created by doing this 4 times, and then you do this combining and everything to create the rest of the chart. And I tell you that in that post. So if you want to check that out, you can go over to imsteppingaside.com at Stepping Aside. Just scroll down, find the monthly geomancy for March, and take a look at it. But that's what I do. And so, you know, here's 2 dots on the fire one, and that's what I got, a single one this time. So that goes up at the top, and the rest were all dual dots, 2 dots. And so, you know, there you have Laetitia. Laetitia is about joy, but it's about the joy of spirit. When it's the opposite, when it's Tristitia, the ego is so strong that you're just in sorrow. You can't put anything into perspective. You're a mess, and you've lost all focus on anything that's joyful. Right now, when the Fool takes its leap into form, it's done in full awareness and full joy. Once you pass the abyss, then we forget a little. You kind of have to do that in order to remember that you actually have to work and struggle and experience and all of that. Otherwise, you just sort of walk about looking at the flowers and say, oh, this is lovely. And that'd be it, right? Well, no, we have to work here while we're here and contribute to the awareness and the whole composite nature of creation. We're creating, based on the experiences we have, more information to that whole matrix or energetic structure. We can do that in joy. If we do that in joy, then we're living in spirit, and we're experiencing life through the eyes of spirit. It's not that ego's not going to come into play. It always will. But with Perthrow, we have this chance for something different to happen, for the unknown, and we can replace we can replace ego in the unknown, because let's face it, it's like, oh Lord, what's going to happen now? If we say that, that's from the voice of ego, because we're expecting something, icky to happen, right, as a result. But if it's, oh, wow, what's going to happen now? Then we're living in Laetitia, we're living in joy, and we're living in spirit. We're eagerly going to create. What am I going to create now? What will I co-create with all of you now? What will come today? What will happen today? What will I experience? What will I encounter? What will I learn? Different thing than, oh God, what's going to happen now? When you fear the unknown versus embracing it, then you're acting from the level of ego, and you don't want to do that. So it's basically, again, my latest book, it's Shifting Perception. That's basically what that's about. It's about learning to identify the triggers that are ego triggers, learning to, and it's all stuff we know. That's the thing. We all know this stuff, and it's just a matter of figuring out how to put it together in a way that shifts our perception away from an ego like response, or an ego-based response and projection, because it's a projection, into one that is spirit-based, and again, allowing you to live in the Laetitia of things, and accepting your fate, basically, the perthrow of the experience, accepting that no matter what it is, it's going to be something that's going to enhance your life. So it's almost, nobody welcomes sadness, but you almost do. It's, oh, okay, this is a sad experience. I'm going to grow from this. I'm going to learn from this. Instead, we tend to succumb to it, right? So you can see the difference there. And I think that, and so that's why I've been talking so much about it here and on the blog, that I don't know, I just wrote this guidebook thing. And it gives affirmations, and it gives some visualizations, and there aren't a lot of them really, but I wanted to do one for each concept that you can then either work with or make into something else that suits you better. So it just gives you an idea of the direction to go, basically, to realign your perceptions into one that's spirit-based and not ego-based. I think that no matter how you get there, whether you use the techniques in that book or whether you just get there because you want to get there, I don't really care, as long as we get there, right? It's just important. So, but if you want to check that one out, the link to it's below the video, and also the one to Confessions of a Back Porch Herbalist, the second edition. I republished it in a second edition. I rewrote some things and added some stuff, and that's about my healing with cannabis. So if you want to look at that too, a link to that's below the video as well. But otherwise, let's see, what else do I need to tell you about? Oh, the Herbal Academy. Check this out, and I'll make sure that the link to it is below the video, okay? Right in where I have my books, the new books. I'm going to put that right there. If you want to take a course on mushrooms, it's an online course. It's going to be available in April, but registration actually begins, well, the giveaway for the course begins, is it today or yesterday? I think it's today. But anyway, there's a link to it. You can sign up to actually register, and you can maybe get a free course if you do that. They're going to do a giveaway right now, and then I think it's the 17th or something, 16th or 17th. That's when actual registration begins, and so maybe you'll win a free course. I'm going to take the course. I'm really fascinated by mushrooms. I do a reishi double Ganoderma extract, and I also have done a turkey tail. I've got them soaking. I haven't done the double Ganoderma extract yet on it. A lot of mushrooms, I think, need that, where you're doing a two-part process, where you're soaking them in alcohol for a while, and then you take either pull them out, the same mushrooms out, or a new batch, and you simmer them, and then you take and combine the two liquids together. It's called a double Gandoderma extract. It's a double extract. So anyway, that I want to learn about it, and I'm an affiliate for them, and so if you sign up through my link, then I'll get a commission on that course. But I'm going to actually take it because Herbal Academy is a great place to learn about herbs, whether you're an herbalist already and you want to advance your training, or whether you're new at it, you want to learn something about it. Lots of little mini courses to take. There's actual herbalism training though as well. But this is a mushroom course, and I think it's going to be really cool. You're going to learn about 20 different mushrooms, how to harvest them, how to work with them, and all of that, how they can enhance your life. I grow mushrooms. I get mushroom patches from Paul Stamets' place, fungi perfecti. I buy a lot of stuff from him. He's a great resource. He's doing wonderful things in research for bees right now, seeing how mushroom extract can help with the viral loads of bees and all of the varroamite and all of that. There may be a mushroom answer to this, and they're working. I'm not sure if he's working with UW on this or who he's working with, but I'm on his mailing list to find out when more comes out about it, because I think that my gut tells me that this is going to be a way forward for beekeepers. I'm a beekeeper, so it's really important to me. But again, I'm excited about this. Check the link out if you want to learn about mushrooms. And who knows, maybe you'll take some more courses from these great people. It's a really nice site, and I highly recommend it. So check that out. And also, Seedsman CBD has 2 new strains out. If you're interested in that, I'll have something about that as well. I'll put a link to that below as well. And check them out if you're a grower and you want to grow some cannabis strains that are high in CBD. You can just do a hemp plant if you want to just do pure CBD, where there's next to no THC in it. But if you want a little plants that still have THC in it, then this would be the place to go, especially if you're trying to heal different issues and things. So in any event, I guess that's all I have. Again, check out the mushroom course. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. I wish it was starting right now, but I have to wait. I don't like that. I hate waiting, especially when it's something I want to do. So anyway, it's mushrooms. I'm excited about it. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. And I didn't have jury duty today, so if I have it tomorrow, which I doubt, I will do this tonight and post it for tomorrow. So anyhow, thanks for coming by. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another, and blessed be.